Chapter 19, Part 2. Salai Tarim, Kingdom of Itadale. Master Giancarlo sits brushing the hair of Princess Kaelana. The king and his royal mage, Petron, discuss the upcoming tournament and the issues facing the kingdom brought about by Hakitha and Nimdwin. The court of Gregoris continues with business as usual, regardless of the battles looming ahead. Without any fanfare, the first of the Alifar alliance begins to arrive. "We missed you so much," Princess Kaelana says. "Why did you have to leave?" Giancarlo smiles, touched by the love of her students. "Because this isn't my world. I taught you all that I could, but you had to learn how to be a princess as well. I know nothing of things like that. In the world I was born, we were very poor. Spending those years with you was a wonderful dream, but it could not last forever." "It could have," Kaelana whispers, "if you had stayed." "Stop," Princess Haydn says, sitting nearby. "Leave Auntie Giancarlo alone. Enjoy the time you can with her before she has to leave again." "Thank you," Giancarlo says to Haydn with a smile. "Is there anyone special waiting for you back home?" Haydn asks, teasing the master. Giancarlo blushes. "Oh, I don't know. I don't have time for a lot of that kind of stuff." The Alifar ambassador to the Jotnar, Lurin Rolfnith, and the Jotnar champion Klebarg Udros enter the court. "You can start the tournament," Klebarg shouts. "Klebarg the Great is here." Lurin closes his eyes and takes a deep breath. "I've told him many times already that the tournament is being held in Kishar, and it isn't for several more days," he says, his voice exhausted from dealing with the boisterous giant. "I think he's doing this just to annoy me at this point." Klebarg laughs loudly, slapping Lurin on the back. "Our journey together has been fun. I'm gonna miss this little guy." "You are the chosen warrior for the Jotnar?" King Gregoris asks. Klebarg nods, beaming with pride. "That I am. The mighty Klebarg at your service." He looks over at Master Giancarlo and the princesses. "Hello, ladies." "He isn't much upstairs, but Klebarg really is an accomplished warrior," Lurin says. "I have seen his prowess in combat firsthand." Klebarg smiles widely. "You ain't too bad yourself, little guy. You took down 3 of the weakens." "We ran into a group of mountain trolls on the way here," Lurin says. "They did not seem to be part of Naljas' army, but they were headed towards the city of Sayagunug. If we hadn't been in the area, who knows what would happen." King Gregoris nods. "The people of Sayagunug are surely in your debt, as am I." Klebarg smiles even wider. "I like having a king in my debt. How about one of those scrumptious-looking daughters of yours? I always wanted to be a noble." The princesses both glare at their father, who laughs uncomfortably. "We can discuss matters of courtship when you all return from Kishar. I would not want any bride to have to bear that kind of loss so quickly after meeting a possible suitor." "Yeah, probably for the best," Klebarg agrees. "Battles can always take a bad turn." He looks directly at Princess Haydn. "I'll be back soon. Then you can get to know the great Klebarg." He raises his battle axe high above his head. "I will return with many grand tales of valor. The Kishar realm will come to fear the name of the mighty Klebarg." "Can we really depend on this oaf?" Elnorin whispers to his fellow Alifar ambassador. "I said before, he is actually a very capable fighter, despite his mental shortcomings. He is among the greatest of the Jotnar. He is regarded by their people as one of the 4 pillars of strength. Kleebog, the mountain splitter, Lurin explains. I hope he can live up to his own hype, Elnoran mutters, still unimpressed. The competition in Kishar will be fierce. What have you learned? I spoke with Queen Selrona. She warns of the Kishar's devilnay. They are Yazata like the Vanir, but possess the bodies of mortals. Lurin scoffs. Yazata in mortal form will be just as easily felled as other mortals. We cannot underestimate this competition. A lot is riding on the victory of our alliance. If we fail to claim the Yazatan weapon, Queen Selrona will stand no chance at defeating Vanaken. If the Vanir are not stopped soon, Nalzesh's forces will only continue to grow stronger. They already outnumber us. If they grow any more in number, not even an alliance between all of the races of Selat Terram will be enough to resist. What more can we do? Lurin asks. The other ambassadors have not yet arrived. If no one is sent from the lands of the Dwerger, Salif, or Kailani, we will not be a strong enough force to properly represent our world in the competition. What good will one Jotnar, 2 Alafar children, and a few men with swords do against an island full of monsters? The mage from Kishar has stated that her people are also sending several representatives to the tournament. At worst, Kleebog and the twins will be able to find them as allies. If the tournament is anything like competitions I have witnessed before, having allies will only be important in the lead-up to the beginning of the tournament itself. Once the tournament starts, it will be every fighter for his or herself. Having allies will not matter at all. Yes, but against an entire island full of hostile forces, just surviving to the tournament will be difficult enough. If only we could contribute, Lurin sighs. Gathering fighters together for a tournament they may not even live to see is pretty depressing. We are not fighters. We would only get in their way. I know it's true, but it is still difficult to hear. All we can do now is have faith that we have gathered the best fighters from each kingdom, and hope that it will be enough. The alternative is too frightening to think about. Kishar Realm, Earth Human World, Jockey Island. Stepping foot on Jockey, the woman born as Katrina Phelps surveys the prospective dangers all around. Demons and monsters of every shape and size run around engaging in wholesale slaughter. As she steps foot on the beach, the young woman draws the attention of numerous nearby demons. Aside from an ugly scar running from her forehead at the scalp down to the bottom of her left eye, she still appears more human than most of the other combatants. Another weak one, a burly demon with large tufts of hair growing out of his ears laughs. Still kind of pretty, though. I'll leave her body as intact as I can for you. Another demon laughs. A tall creature with spiraling horns and an outer skin made of tiny, poisonous barbs. Hardened plates of organic armor grows around the young woman's thighs and shoulders. 2 large horn-like growths spiral out from her shoulder blades, and her nails lengthen into claws. 3 reptilian tails emerge from her lower back, and her skin becomes a sickly gray color. Once auburn hair becomes a bright, almost neon red. Her eyes become yellow and cat-like. Now calling herself Descarina, the mutated woman quickly impales every demon around her by suddenly extending dozens of horn-like appendages from her back and arms. She is surprised to feel a vigorous rush, gained after killing her opponents. There is some kind of magic on this island, she thinks. I have never believed in magic before, not until those mages came and attacked the hospital and killed. She shakes the thoughts away. Whatever it is, it seems the more enemies you kill here, the stronger you become. I will have to make the most of this so that when Yamura finally arrives, I will be able to repay him for all of the humiliations he has forced me to endure. An older figure in tattered robes steps off a ship, alerting several demons who have taken to hunting new arrivals in packs. Unlike most beings who receive the invitation, demons are immune to the effects of the spell concealing Jockey, and can travel to the island freely. Because of this, hundreds of demons were the first to arrive and stake out territory as their claim. "You're too old for this tournament," a large demon mocks the old man, approaching with a group of muscular and ferocious-looking creatures. "Pathetic," one of the larger demons spat, stepping into Mishi's path. "What a fragile human like you doing here? Have you lost your way?" Mishi paused, his eyes narrowing slightly but still betraying nothing of his true nature. He was here for a purpose, to test himself, to keep his energy concealed and to sharpen his skills for the upcoming battle. The true reason, though, was his desire to surprise Hui. His identity and full power would remain hidden until the perfect moment. These demons were just fodder, an opportunity to perfect his control. The demon moved closer, towering over him. "You scared? Go on. Beg for mercy before we tear you apart." Mishi said nothing, allowing the air to grow still. In that moment, the demons began to circle, each one feeding off the confidence that they had the upper hand. They lunged, expecting a quick and easy kill, but in the blink of an eye, Mishi's movements became a blur. His hand shot out, striking the first demon in the throat, crushing it before the others could react. Without allowing his energy to flare, he snapped the neck of another, pivoting to dodge a massive claw aimed at his chest. Every move was precise, silent, and deadly. The demons staggered back in confusion, their grotesque faces twisted with shock as their numbers rapidly dwindled. They could sense no energy signature from him, no sign of power, no hint of the force that was tearing through them. It was as if they were killed by a ghost. "Impossible," one demon rasped as it fell to the ground, its body already limp. Mishi's cold, calculating gaze never wavered. In a matter of moments, the entire group lay dead around him. The ground was littered with demon corpses, and not once had Mishi revealed his true identity. He stood among the carnage, wiping the blood from his hands as if it were nothing. He looks over in the direction of Hui, far away on the cliff face. "There is no way that any of them could sense me this far away," Hui thinks, stepping back as the old man looks in his direction. "My aura is suppressed to almost nothing." The old man, known as Mishi, is not fooled. There's no mistaking it. The Sakari known as Hui is on Jockey Island. He has come to the tournament for the explicit purpose of facing the former Grand General of Central Averno and ending his life. Hui's crimes have transcended time, and the countless lives he has stolen over millennia have not been forgotten. An old foe has followed him to Jockey to exact his revenge, and it isn't Jake or Yamura. The mobile tanker Azalea, the Pacific Ocean en route to Jockey Island, December 15th, 1998. "Damn, this is tough," Jake says, out of breath, sweating heavily. The teen lowers his arms to rest for a few minutes. "I've been through some serious torture to disguise as training, but this really saps your stamina." "Your body isn't used to the flow of magical energy," Laura says. "Each of your cells are conditioned to produce physical energy. But you have to teach your body to open up to the presence of magic. Sometimes, your body can be shocked into adapting, but it's dangerous." "What do you mean?" "If it's taking your body too long to acclimate to the flow of magical energy, it is possible to forcibly push external sources of magic through your cells in order to make your body adapt." "Okay, that sounds a lot easier," Jake says. "It would be extremely painful," Laura says. "It could kill you." A little pain never hurt anyone, Jake laughs. It won't be a little pain, Allure stresses. Your body would feel like it's being torn apart and reassembled. Jake shrugs. I've been thrown through buildings, bitten by venomous snakes, shot, had multiple limbs broken, my freaking neck snapped. Pretty much any physical trauma you can imagine, I've experienced. I still don't think it'll be the same. You'll be feeling pain on a cellular level. Danny approaches, having caught only part of their conversation. She has spent most of her time on the ship making sure the other mages are preparing for Jockey Island and the challenges ahead. What crazy idea are you talking about? Danny asks Jake. Jake feigns innocence. What, me? I don't know what you're implying. Danny only continues to stare at him. Okay, I'm having trouble adjusting to using magic. Allure might have mentioned a way to speed things along. That's all. Danny turns her attention to Allure. I told him it wasn't safe. I should never have said anything, Allure admits. What exactly is this shortcut? Danny asks. Transferring magical energy through his body in a continuous current to open up his cells to adaptation. It would essentially work like jump-starting a car. No way, Danny says firmly. That could kill you. Or, hear me out, it could give me the power boost I need a hell of a lot quicker, giving me several more days of training to refine my techniques. At this rate, it's going to take me the entire trip, just to teach my body to even recognize and sense magical energy, let alone use it myself at any level that would be useful. Or again, you could die, Danny says. You're humanity's best shot at stopping Inyana. You've done it before. Dying now would be reckless and stupid. Nothing worthwhile can be gained without risk, Jake says. With my power restricted, I need to take a few extra risks to make up for it. I don't think it's a good idea, Danny says. Well, good thing that I'm doing it, not you. Ugh! Danny shouts in frustration, walking away. You're impossible! Jake smiles. All right, Tish. Light me up. You're serious, Allure whispers. You want to do this? Jake nods. Serious as a heart attack. You'll be lucky if that's all you suffer, Danny shouts. Allure places her hands on Jake's chest. Are you sure about this? I could kill you. Jake laughs. At this point, I couldn't be lucky enough to die in the arms of a pretty girl. Allure brushes. Now I'm gonna really feel bad if you die. Jake takes a deep breath and braces himself. Okay, I'm ready. Go for it. He tenses, closing his eyes and tightening his muscles in anticipation of the pain to come. He still is not ready. Magical energy surges into Jake like he's grabbing a hold of a live wire. The teen tries to bear it, but the pain only increases. Every cell within Jake's body feels like it is erupting. Smoke begins to rise from his skin and his hair stands on end. Stop it! Danny shouts, running back over. You're killing him! Jake grabs Allure's wrist tightly. Don't you dare let go, he says, his voice strained. You keep going. I've come too far to quit now. Allure continues pumping her magical energy through Jake, tears in her eyes. She feels horrible inflicting such pain on him, but he only urges her to keep going. Against her best judgment, she honors Jake's wishes. A vortex of wind spirals around Jake and he throws his head back, flames vomiting from his mouth. Waves of water rise up around the ship, unconsciously being controlled by the teen. Danny's eyes widen. The elements. They're responding to him. It's actually working. The other mages have stopped their own training to watch Jake's magical awakening. As his body is flooded with magical energy, the elements form a resonance with his spirit. The waves calm and the winds slow. The flames cease from Jake's mouth and instead begin to dance around him in flickering wisps. He opens his eyes, the pain finally reaching a zenith and rising no higher. In his vision, Jake can now see the component elements of magical energy all around. "I can see," Jake whispers. The world appears as if part of a dream, colors swirling all around as magical energy and life energy intermingle among all living things. Another round of pain shoots through the teen and he blinks rapidly, trying to clear his vision. He cannot stop seeing the magic, and it causes tremendous pain within his brain. "How do you shut it off?" Jake screams, clawing at his head. "Help him!" Danny shouts. Allura trembles, still held fast by Jake's grip. She tries to pull free, but cannot. "He still has hold of my wrists. I can't cast anything." Jake foams at the mouth, being driven mad by pain. He screams again and again, causing the elements around him to fall into chaos. Waves crash against the side of the ship violently. Hurricane-force winds spiral around to form powerful storms. The sky grows black and electrical discharges of energy lash out from Jake's aura and burn scorch marks into the ship's deck. "Get your boy under control," Butler shouts, "before he fries all of us." Danny is unsure of what to do. Jake's power going out of control gives her flashbacks of their battle in the hospital against the doctor and the out-of-control Jake. If Jake has truly lost all control, not even the wall in his mind will be able to stop him this time. The danger has moved from Jake risking his own life to putting the lives of everyone on board the ship in danger. Alyssa walks over to Jake, ignoring the electrical energy. Bolts of energy crackle all around and explode at the hunter's feet. Alyssa does not break stride, walking straight through the danger to reach Jake. Everyone watches in shock as Alyssa rears back and strikes Jake with a hard slap across the face. "What are you doing?" Alyssa growls. "Are you so weak to lose control like this? Has everything we heard about you been lies? You are supposed to be some great warrior. Start acting like it. Rein this power in. It is your power. You control it, not the other way around." Jake blinks in disbelief. The sting of Alyssa's slap felt even through the greater pain of magic ravaging his cells. Allura moves back, Jake releasing his grip on her wrists. She rubs her hands, now sore from his tight grip. The girl never takes her eyes off Jake as he continues to pulsate with overflowing magical energy. "You need to release the excess energy," Danny says. "If you don't vent the overflow, you'll melt down like a nuclear reactor." Jake concentrates, holding his arms up and attempting to release the excess energy above. A massive beam of light explodes from the teen's hands, firing into the atmosphere before disappearing. Jake collapses to his knees, beginning to lose consciousness. "There," he says. "I told you it would work." "Get up," Alyssa mutters. "You look pathetic. All the screaming and breathing heavily. If you could not handle this kind of pain, maybe you're not fit for the tournament at all." "Just give me a short breather," he whispers. "Then I'm jumping right back into training. I'm winning this tournament. I'm gonna show all of you what I'm capable of." Jake falls forward to his face, out cold. Danny shakes her head in astonishment, and finally smiles with slight amusement. "What an idiot." "His gamble actually paid off," Allura whispers. "Did you see the amount of power he was able to generate?" Danny grows concerned. If Jake is able to surpass the level of strength he had before, how much more dangerous will he become should his emotional wall ever come down? "We have to approach this carefully. Jake may be on our side, but he is also a warhead that we're arming. If this power goes out of control, I'm not sure any of us can stop him." "I think we can handle it," Allura says, having confidence in Jake. "He's demonstrated just how strong his will and determination are." "Sometimes those just aren't enough," Danny whispers. "I was determined to keep us all alive." She pauses in sadness and regret. But I've already failed in that. I couldn't keep them alive. Caitlin relied on me to keep her safe, and I let her die. She had no business being on a mission this dangerous. I knew she wasn't ready, but my own pride convinced me that I could protect her. I was barely able to protect myself, let alone anyone else. If Jake hadn't arrived when he did, those devils would have slaughtered all of us. I'm such a fool. Don't be so down on yourself, Allura says, trying to comfort her friend. Caitlin could have refused this mission just like Fisher did. She chose to come with us because she wanted to do whatever she could do to help her friends. Chua and Edward knew the same risks, but they all chose to fight for Endelgian. They chose to fight for humanity. Their deaths weren't in vain. Every monster they killed is one less threat their friends have to face. All three of them died heroes. Danny sighs loudly. I know you're right, but I still have to carry the weight of their deaths. We all do, and we're going to use it as motivation. Those devils and vampires, they're going to pay for what they did. We'll avenge our friends. The other mages gather around, feeling the emotion of their discussion from a distance. What's our plan? Butler asks. We can keep training up here, but what exactly are we working towards? Danny realizes what needs to be done if she truly means to protect her friends. She was thinking she could protect them all. Her focus should have been making sure that each of them has the means to protect themselves. We all know basic spells, elemental spells, and some individual specialization, like Allura's makeup tools and glamour spells, and Alcine's bug magic. What we lack is an edge. The devils are better at killing than we are. They have telekinesis, so they can attack from a distance. Biokinesis to allow them to kill us remotely. Pyrokinesis to control flames. And probably a slew of other powers we have yet to see in action. The vampires and other monsters are apex predators, and their entire survival depends on killing. We can cast all the enchantments and protections we want, but that is only playing defense. We can't win a tournament playing defense alone. If we want to win, we need to have a better offense than our enemies. Elemental spells are just not going to cut it at this level. What are you suggesting? Zaya asks. The elders put us together to silence us. We were exposed to a kind of magic that they all fear. The only way we're going to come out of this mission alive is to make those fears real. We have to become the threat the elders already believe us to be, Danny says. We all have to master black magic. The only way that we're going to be viable competitors is with strong curse magic, and the ability to summon powerful dark entities like the Saints. You can't be serious, Provost Lilium Rom whispers. Danny nods. Just one of the Saints was strong enough to turn an entire team of mages our level or higher into a joke. Not even the devils will be able to stand up to that kind of power. She's right, Seno says. We may not like it, but we're going to have to get our hands dirty this time. This mission is too important for us to be held back by moral hang-ups and the rules of frightened old people who would rather send us to our deaths than face any kind of change. I'm in, Zaya says. I've trusted you this far. I can't doubt you now. Thanks, Danny whispers, genuinely grateful. I know it will be hard, but look at what Jake was willing to go through just for the possibility of a power-up. He almost died so that he could fight the likes of Inyana and the devils on an even playing field. No one is going to expect us to all be able to do the same. Butler grins, excited at the prospect of growing stronger. None of these monsters are going to know what hit them. When we reach Jockey, every one of us is going to surpass a master-level magician. That's my intention, Danny says. A team of all Provosts with Provost-level power is going to be far different from a team of Provosts with master-level power. Each of us will have a legitimate shot at winning the tournament by the time we arrive. What are we waiting for? Lilium asks. We're wasting daylight. We've only got 8 days left to surpass our limits. Sele Terum, Kingdom of Itadale. Klebarg boisterously demands another barrel of wine as the people gathered awaits the final members of Queen Silrona's Alifar alliance. Representing the Jotnar giants of the Ulfang Kingdom, Klebarg is one of the Jotnar's champion heroes known as the Four Pillars of Strength. Also gathered for Inyama's tournament are 3 Salif from the city of Londakum, Yailush, Thatnim, and Firuf. After several days of waiting, the royal kitchen fears that Klebarg will eat and drink them out of their supplies for the entire year. 3 Alifar enter the hall, 2 of them child-sized, while the third is a lean adult elf. Ambassador Elnorin, the adult elf says, bowing with respect. Ambassador Lurin, Ambassador Chrislia, Captain Ilianaro Ilzeros. Elnorin returns the elf warrior's respectful greeting, introducing him to the other members of King Gregorius's court. You are our final arrival. Ilianaro looks around confused. Where are the ambassadors Damthukan and Uteme? Elnorin shakes his head. We could not reach them. We cannot wait for them, Sir Jamriek says. The mages of Endelgian are relying on us for support. The twins lower their hoods and try to get a feel for the other champions, selected to represent Sele Terum on jockey. Is this the best they could come up with? The male youth, Zilrem Tizarestal, asks. What the hell's that supposed to mean? Klebarg asks, setting down a wine barrel. Do not waste your breath talking to that idiot, Ilianaro tells the twins. Why is a mindless brute like him even a part of this? We're not entering a drinking competition. Klebarg laughs. If only we were. That'd be a tournament that you'd win even if you lose. I'm sure you know all about losing, Zoran says. Klebarg is actually one of the most accomplished fighters among all of the Ulfang, Luran says. That does not speak well of the Jotnar, Ilianaro says smugly. You got a real bad attitude, elf, Klebarg says, glaring at Ilianaro. You want to settle this outside? Ilianaro laughs. As if I would waste my time fighting you. It wouldn't waste much time, Klebarg says, cracking his knuckles. I'd crush you in a few seconds. Ilianaro draws his sword, but Lurin steps between them. We need to work together. Queen Silrona is depending on all of you brave warriors to represent our world with pride and claim the Yazatan weapon. Without that weapon, we never will be rid of the Vanir. Just stay out of my way, Ilianaro says, sheathing his sword. It will be we Alifar who claim victory for the queen. Klebarg continues glaring at the elf. I don't like that one. Lurin sighs. Just do your best to work with him. The captain isn't used to sharing the spotlight. Back home, he is a legendary warrior, even more renowned than the twins. Seems he's rubbing his bad attitude off on the squirts as well, Klebarg mutters. Won't be long before they're as unbearable as him. He has taken the twins under his wing. There are a lot of things that Captain Ilianaro can teach them. I got a few things I could teach him myself. Don't do anything to provoke the captain. Interacting with the twins too much might put him at odds with you even worse. Klebarg grins. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. Lurin again sighs. I have a bad feeling that one of you isn't going to make it to the start of the tournament. The 4 Salif hang back away from the others, looking on at the spectacle with annoyance and disgust. The Alifar are not incorrect, Yaihush says. That Jotnar is abrasive to every sense. Thatnim nods. I am not sure if I am more offended by his manners or his smell. Klebarg overhears the Salif and turns quickly. Who are you saying smells? Thatnim steps forward, conjuring a feather-like blade composed of wind magic. If you cannot detect your own stench, There is more defective in your brain than mere intelligence. What do you expect from one of the Jotnar? Philrith laughs. They are barely more than a race of beasts. I do not see why a savage like him was invited to this gathering. We need all the assistance that we can, Elnoran replies. If we cannot unite our races against Nalzesh, how can we ever hope to save our world from this corruption? We have done fine on our own, Yahish says with a huff. The corruption of the Dark Fae has not reached Silphoria for a reason. Nalzesh is not our only problem, and you know it, Elnoran argues. The Yazatan Vanir threaten the freedom of every race. Please, King Greguis begs. I have brought all of you together so that we can form a strong alliance. An alliance that can fight as one to save our world from all of its threats. Philrith groans with frustration and folds his winged arms. It is bad enough having to tolerate the elves, but now we must take orders from a human as well. We need to put aside our differences and focus on our common enemies, the Salif ambassador Christia says. Even you, Thatnem is surprised. You are okay with this alliance? Christia nods. We cannot do this on our own. We have been lucky that Nalzesh's evil has not spread into our lands. But it is only a matter of time. Eventually we too will have to face the corruption, and so many of our people will suffer because of it. We will work together, Philrith says, but do not think of this as making us friends or equals. Our magic will certainly be the cornerstone of this alliance, and I expect all of you to remember as much. Them birds are full of themselves, Klebar groans. The Salif and the Alafar are certainly races not lacking in confidence, Lurin replies. But they are not mistaken. The wind magic of the Salif is indeed powerful. Their strength will be crucial to our victory. Yeah, but you aren't the one that's gonna have to put up with them mouths, Klebar continues to complain. Lurin laughs. I'm sure you will do just fine, Klebar. As long as they can get you to the enemy to crush, you'll forget all about their bigotry. I suppose so, Klebar shrugs. Doesn't mean I gotta like it. Who knows? Maybe you'll win them over with your charm, Lurin continues to laugh. Yeah, Klebar grins. I am a pretty awesome fella. Leonaro approaches King Greguis and the other ambassadors. What is this other task, so important that it takes precedent over the liberation of our world from the Vanir, or the corruption of Nalzesh? Master Jankela steps forward. In my world, there exists a special weapon so powerful that it was locked away by the Yazata. A competition has been announced that will award that weapon to whoever can win said tournament. A tournament? Klebarg's interest is piqued. Like fighting? Jankela nods. The more powerful fighters we can enter into this tournament increases the chances of overall victory for our world. Whichever of you wins, the weapon will be shared by our alliance, to be used to free all of our kingdoms from the Vanir and the Dark Fae, Elnoran adds. That seems fair, Zobella whispers. As if anyone other than one of us is going to win, Zurin argues. Thatnem begins to laugh. Spoiled little elf. Your magic pales in comparison to the wind. It will be the Salif who claim victory. This is not good, Master Jankela whispers. They cannot get along. This alliance will be at each other's throats long before they ever reach Jockey Island. I have confidence they will come together when the time is right, Elnoran says. Fighting a greater threat will always forge strong bonds among comrades. I hope you're right, Jankela says. We can't risk someone evil claiming that weapon, because everyone on our side is too busy fighting amongst themselves. Within Jake's subconscious, he finds himself standing at the edge of a cliff. All around, a swirling vortex of light surrounds him. A blue orb of light hovers beside the teen, seemingly observing the colors as well. Your eyes have been opened up to a whole new world, the blue orb of light says. You were always so close to this enlightenment, but not everyone is born with the ability to see or sense magical energy. You pushed your physical body to the border with your spiritual awareness and Ymura's ability to use low-level magics, but you can never quite breach the barrier on your own. Those not born in magic require that extra push. Jake looks down at the orb. I know you, he says. I've heard your voice before. Before I ever met Ymura, you were with me. The orb takes on the form of a blue spirit wolf. The fur of the creature is made of light and rises like steam, imitating hair moving in a breeze. The wolf nods. I have always been with you. I am your familiar. You and I were unable to speak directly before, due to the veil still being over your eyes. Now that you are fully open to magic, I may now manifest myself to you. A familiar? What's that? We are Fae, Emrock says. Beings born of magic to serve those who are chosen to serve. Chosen? Who chose you to serve me? Jake is extremely confused. He wonders if Alor's magic has permanently damaged his brain. You are a special kind of human that is able to serve as a vessel for spirits, other than your own, and not be consumed by their otherworldly presence. We Fae call humans like you the Vitir. It means soldier of the Fae. Long ago, when humanity was in its infancy, your world was much different. The world was filled with magic, and we Fae dwelt in all living things. The Creator gave Kishar to the Fae, and we Fae created animal and plant life to propagate an empty world. Pleased with our work, the Creator sent some of the Aesir to live on Kishar. When the Creator decided to place his new humans on Kishar, the Yazda quickly became jealous of the positive relationships and symbiosis that we were able to form with humanity. Meanwhile, the Aesir had been using their power to not only advance human civilization, they were also experimenting on human-like apes in an attempt to create their own version of the Creator's humans. When the Yazata attacked, some of the Fae chose the first Vatir in order to fight back. We were unsuccessful, and most of our kind fled Kishar with the surviving Aesir. Had civil war not broken out among the Yazata's own ranks, I fear we would have all been wiped out. The Vitir that survived had found that they could not separate themselves from the human hosts once bonded. Our souls had partially fused together. The spirits of the Fae would be passed on through the offspring of the Vitir until our connection to each other became so distant that only those with full magical awareness could interact with us. But Cedrion said that I'm a descendant of the Nephilim. Even Ymura's memories of Iasion and Enkidu supported that. Amarok nods. You are both Sarai and Vitir, Fae and Yazata, human and not. You are very important to Cedrion and the other Yazata because of your unique heritage. That is why he has gone to such lengths to bring you to Jockey. Wait, how do you know all of that? We Fae still exist in the nature of the world. The magical energy of the world still connects us. Like a current, we can express thoughts to each other. The other Fae still existing in Kishar have kept an eye on Cedrion and the other Grigori. The tournament on Jockey is an event that has the potential to affect all worlds and realities in existence. Using you, Cedrion hopes to be able to claim the Banakazka, a weapon made by the Yazata mages, to be able to render time and space itself. Cedrion plans to use the Banakazka to initiate a third great war and kill the Yazata of Anshar and take over as ruler of heaven himself. Cedrion's goal is to become a god? Amarok shakes his head. Not a god, the god. He means to rule over and reshape all reality to his desires. If he claims that title, Cedrion will become omniscient and omnipresent. He will know all and exist in all times and places. There will be no stopping him at this point. So, shouldn't I just throw in the towel and not participate in the tournament? If I don't win, Cedrion won't get the Bonacaska. Cedrion has a backup plan in the form of Hui's vessel, Craig Delgado. To be a vessel of other spirits like the Sicarii or devils, one must be of Yazatan descent. If you do not win the tournament, Hui can still claim the Bonacaska, and the result for Cedrion will be the same. Then why groom me for the role of someone already evil like Craig can just easily fill it? Cedrion knows that you hold significance in this fate, but because he is not yet all-knowing, he cannot be certain he will not meet his end at your hands. His intention has been to steer you in the direction of his plans, without ever trying to outright force you into decisions. Your free will is still a danger to the Yazata. And he should have killed me when he had the chance, Jake growls, because he fucked up and made an enemy of me a long time ago. Cedrion never counted on you forming a union with Yamura. The Sicarii was supposed to drown out your consciousness. To his surprise, you and Yamura began to work together and become allies. All of Cedrion's transgressions against Yamura have been inherited into your will. You have the motivation and the desire to kill Cedrion. With the Bonacaska, you will finally have the means. With the Bonacaska, I can kill Cedrion? Jake whispers in disbelief. Can and must, Amrock says. Cedrion's goal of usurping the Creator dangers all of existence. The Fae of Kishar are fully in support of you. With magical awareness, how much have my odds increased at winning the tournament? Many times over. Now that you can fully recognize my existence, you need only call my name for assistance. I have lived through your ancestors for thousands of years, in anticipation of the day one of you would awaken to my presence. Eossian was close, but the hatred and pain in his heart prevented me from ever reaching him. Danny, Jake whispers, her spell to wall up my negative emotions. That's how I was finally able to pierce the veil. The darkness no longer clouds your mind to me, but beware, we Fae can be corrupted by the darkness just like you. Should you ever become consumed by your negative emotions again, I too will be changed by it. No pressure, Jake sighs. Do not think of me as being a separate being from you, as in the case with Yamura. You and I are not two souls sharing one form. Since the Vaitir were born, the spirits of you and I are together as one. I am not the same being that I was long ago. Each time my Fae spirit is passed on, a portion of me is lost within the soul of my human counterpart. We are one spirit and cannot be fully separated, even in death. So you're just an aspect of my own soul now? Jake asks. This is so crazy. Yet it still isn't the craziest thing I've been told in the past year. Alien parasites causing human reptilian mutations, Amrock says. Jake nods. By far. Even we Fae doubted the existence of life on other worlds until we saw our first Aesir descend upon Kishar. To us, they were aliens. They worked with the Yazata at first to cultivate humanity, but then the power of human devotion was learned. Unlike the love of animals and nature, as we had always known, human devotion empowered the Aesir and made them stronger. Some of the Aesir let this power go to their heads and declared themselves gods. The Yazata took offense and began slaughtering Aesir and Fae alike. It was never our war. We never wished to become gods. I'm not the biggest cheerleader for the Yazata myself, Jake says. That bastard Cedrion has done everything he can to manipulate me and Yamura and make our lives hell. He's going to pay for everything he's done to me, Yamura, and the Fae. I'm going to play his game. I'm going to claim the Bonacaska. But he's going to be in for a rude awakening when I use it to send his ass straight to hell. A far more powerful Yazata out there than him, Amrock says. The Yazata that wiped out my kind were unbelievably strong. They called themselves the Vanir. They were like demigods. So what? Angels, gods, it doesn't matter. They want to step up, I'll beat their ass with this band of Kozka, all the same. Just make sure you keep your mind and body open to the voices of the Fae. Now that you are aware of magic, you will need the assistance of the Fae to succeed. On Jockey Island, there are remnants of the Fae kept prisoner by the magic of the Yazata. Reach out to them and seek their guidance. There are events transpiring on that island far beyond anything devised by the Sakari. Jake nods. Don't worry. We're in this together. We aren't just allies. You're a part of my soul. Whatever we face, we'll overcome it. Sele Tarim, Kingdom of Itadale. The members of the Alifar Alliance, recruited to participate in Inyana's tournament, have gathered together in the court of the King Greguris of Itadale. The Jotnar Klebar Gudros carries on raucously, holding a barrel of wine in each arm. The famous Alifar twin adventurers, Zilran and Zilbella Tizarestal, sit on the edge of a table, their feet dangling. Despite being 80 in human years and looking like human teenagers, the pair are still considered to be children by Alifar standards. Beside the twins stands their current mentor, Captain Ilionaro Alzeiros. 3 representatives of the Salif speak with the mages Jankela Norlanis of Endelgian and Petron Thickros of Itadale. Closely connected to the elements of wind, the Salif's lives are intertwined with magic. Yaihush, a female Salif and the team's healer, listens in awe of Master Norlanis' descriptions of Endelgion. A whole society of mages? That sounds wonderful. I would so much like to see that one day. I'm sure everyone would love to meet you as well. The Salif warrior Thadanim examines his sword, inspecting the feather-shaped weapon of any blemishes. When using wind magic, a single quill out of place could alter his entire swing. Are all the mages of Endelgian teachers like yourself, or do you produce warriors as well? Giancaela smiles. We have many great warriors in our city. The Knights of Solomon are among the most powerful mages in all of Kishar. You should meet some of our warriors once you reach Jockey Island. How will we know the mages from our enemies? Will everyone on the island not be in pursuit of the same prize? Philroth asks. They will be a group of young humans. I'm sure they'll stand out in contrast to the other combatants. They better not get in our way, Zoran says, annoyed. We like to fight a certain way, Zobella explains. We're not used to being a part of a larger group. Klebar grabs the Alifar by the shoulders and squeezes the teens together. It'll be fun. You're gonna love fighting with us. Zoran scowls, trying to pull away. You stink of booze. And body odor, Zobella adds, making a face of disgust. Klebar laughs loudly. That is the smell of a man. You'll learn that one day, little ones. Ha! Stick with the great Klebar, and I'll teach you how to both be men. I'm a girl, Zobella says, annoyed. Eh? Klebar tries to look down the elf's shirt. Maybe you are. Sorry, you Alifar is all flat as a board. I likes me some meat on my woman. You gotta have strong hips to take on the Jotnar's pant snake. Gross, Zobella shouts, pulling free. You're so crude. Zoran shakes his head in disgust. Are all Jotnar like you? Klebar smiles. I'm the manliest of my people. He looks over at Princess Hayden. That princess now, she's got some hips. The twins walk away. We are done talking to you. Jamrick pats the side of Klebar's leg, laughing. It will take some time for the twins to get used to you. That's odd. I'm usually pretty good with kids. He glances over to see Captain Ilionaro glaring at him, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. I'd be more concerned getting that one used to you, Jamrick says. As the leader of the King's Royal Guard, Sir Jamrick Darren is one of the men selected to represent Itadale on Jockey. The strongest bonds are forged on the battlefield. Once the fighting begins, that is when our group will become close. Klebarg nods. You're absolutely right. Them kids will come around and we'll be an unstoppable team. We'll conquer the tournament and come back here to a hero worship's feast. Jamrick laughs. Yeah, we sure will. He's not as confident that they will all return alive. Most likely, only one of them will survive. If the tournament is kill or be killed, only a single fighter can claim victory. Enjoy tonight, King Gregorus orders. Live and laugh. Tomorrow, you brave warriors will take the first step towards liberating our world from the Vanir. Everyone cheers loudly, raising their glasses and mugs. Klebarg cracks open one of the barrels and begins pouring wine directly down his throat. Mobile Tanker Azalea, December 22nd, 1998. Before we get to Jockey, I've got to know where we stand, Jake says. Danny begins to stretch out. I was thinking exactly the same thing. Hui won't toy with you, Jake says. He's even more brutal than Yamura. If you come face to face with him, you'll be killed. Gee, thanks for the vote of confidence, Danny mutters, insulted. I'm serious. You don't have full access to your magic. It'll be like you're fighting with both hands tied behind your back, while Hui will be stronger than ever. At this point, I'm not sure 100% that even I can beat him. And how do you know that I'm not stronger than you? Danny protests. Maybe without magic, I'm still strong enough to fight you and Hui at the same time. Look, I don't doubt you've gotten a lot stronger since training with the other mages, but Hui is an entirely different league. You never had to face him or Inyana. The Sakari, they're not like other opponents. And you've never had to fight dark sorcerers like Scrimhour. I think you're severely underestimating me. I'm not underestimating you at all, Jake says, but you're underestimating me. You think I'm the same kid that you fought back in Rockland, but I've been through some serious shit since then. And I haven't been sitting on my ass this entire time, Danny growls. I'm 100 times stronger than I was back then. I don't think we're going to be able to settle this any other way, Jake sighs. A quick sparring match. Then we need to get back to figuring out our plan for the tournament. What plan do we need? Danny asks. It's a tournament. We each do everything we can to be the last person standing. It's gonna be a lot more complicated than that, and you know it, Jake says. First of all, there's going to be a hell of a lot more hopeful combatants than spots available. We're all going to have to fight for our lives just to make it to the start of the tournament. Do you guys really think this is such a good idea? Allura asks, concerned. What if one of you gets seriously injured before the tournament even begins? What if you can't compete? Should we really be taking a risk like this? It's fine, Jake says, stretching out. We have a lot of unfinished business that needs worked out. This fight has been needed ever since Rockland. We never did get a fair one-on-one, Danny admits. There are many what-ifs floating around in both of our minds. We need to settle this before we can do anything else. Jake nods. Just a quick tussle, then we move on past our personal history and baggage. No hard feelings, right? There won't be any hard feelings when I beat your ass, Danny grins. Jake laughs. Okay then. He lowers into a fighting stance. It's gonna be like that, huh? Danny slides her feet into a fighting stance as well. Yeah, it is.